Welcome to Breaking Down Sustainability, and in this episode, we'll be breaking down Safaricom Sustainable Business Report, which is the 14th installment ever since they began their sustainability reporting back in 2012. And since then, annually, they have been able to publish a sustainable business report communicating to their investors and to their other stakeholders what they have been able to achieve as regards sustainability. So at the onset, their report begins by highlighting what they were able to achieve in the financial year 2024, including contributions such as being able to contribute an estimated 722 billion to Kenya's GDP, which was an increase of 62 billion from the previous year. Further, they also highlight that their economic impact was also able to increase by 10% from the previous economic year. Further, they highlight that the worth of the societal value increased by 7.2%, achieving 348 billion worth of societal value in 2024. Further, they also highlight that they were able to secure a 15 billion sustainability-linked loan, which is quite commendable and among, I believe, the leading sustainability-linked loans in the country. In fact, they were actually commended for this particular achievement. The report goes on to give a message from the CEO and a message from the chairman. As highlighted in our previous episode, this is indicative of the independence of these particular institutions, because whereby the office of the CEO and the office of the chairman of the board are two independent offices, though they may be interdependent, it is best that when giving a message, when communicating a message to your stakeholders, both offices actually give a message to emphasize this independence that exists between the different roles. Also, it is also indicative that the various holders of the offices actually recognize their mandate, because as noted in this particular one, the chairman's message ends with an acknowledgement that the report that the management is actually communicating to stakeholders is actually indicative of the progress that the organization is making towards sustainability. So it is a vote of confidence for their management team, which goes to show that though the two offices may be interdependent, they are quite distinct and quite independent of each other, which is the best practice as regards governance actually globally. We are being encouraged to separate the roles of the CEO and the chairman, and Safaricom have been able to achieve this, and we all know the commercial success that Safaricom has been able to achieve. So maybe this is the direction that organizations ought to take so as to be able to achieve similar financial success. Further, the Sustainable Business Report actually also has a report from the executive, or from the sustainability executive, who is the director of sustainability and societal impact, Ms. Karen Basie. This is also indicative of the commitment that Safaricom has to sustainability. It shows that sustainability to them is not just an extra agenda point, but is actually part of their core strategy. Because if they have a director whose sole purpose is to ensure that the organization is headed in the right direction as regards sustainability, then this shows that they actually have a commitment to ensuring that the organization is led in a sustainable manner, that they have considerations of ESG in their day-to-day operations and even in their strategies and their policies, which is quite commendable and has actually been commended, as can be seen in the financial year 2024. Safaricom was actually given various accolades for their various contributions in the sustainability space. For example, the Safaricom's Women in Technology was awarded, the Safaricom's program of Women in Technology was awarded by the Institute of Electronic Engineers. They were also awarded as the most inclusive listed company. They were further awarded by the UNEP. They were awarded for their loan deal of the year. As noted earlier, they were able to secure a 15 billion sustainability-linked loan. So for this particular achievement, they were also commended for it. So as you can see, as they are making progress in the sustainable space, their efforts are being recognized and they are being awarded and commended for their particular efforts, which should serve as an encouragement to other organizations to also realize that if they make strides in the sustainable space, then they will also be able to be recognized and commended for these particular efforts that they'll be making. The report goes on to identify the material topics that dictated this particular report. What material topics does Safaricom focus on as regards their sustainability? So these material topics include innovation and partnership, their platforms. They also highlight why these particular material topics are deemed material topics, why they are important. The other material topic is on environmental stewardship. They have a key focus on environmental stewardship, on regulatory environment, and on governance, business ethics, and on risk. So they have gone on to highlight what exactly they have been able to contribute as regards SDG. What were the SDGs that they were able to focus on and to be able to contribute on? They are focused on 9 out of the extant 17 SDGs. Their key focus is on 9 of them. These include good health and well-being, quality education, clean energy, economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, responsible consumption, peace, justice and strong institution, and partnership for the goal. So these are the SDGs that they were focused on in generating this sustainable business report and in their sustainability operations throughout the year. So what was the impact? What was the impact that their sustainability efforts were able to achieve? To be able to calculate this, they adopted KPMG's true value assessment. This methodology that KPMG developed to be able to assess the true value of the impact of the sustainability efforts of an organization. And the value assessment refers to 3 value dimensions, including the economic value add, the societal value add, and the environmental value add. So what was the value creation across the economic, social, and environmental sectors? As noted, there have been an increase in the financial value creation, in the economic value creation, and in the social value creation as well. Though from the charts shared, it is notable that the year-on-year increase from 2023 to 2024 was not as high as has been noted in previous years. However, on the environmental impact, it is noted that there has been a reduction in the environmental impact. Not reduction to note that they have been impacting the environment less, but that they have been having negative impact, and this negative impact has been reducing. On innovations and partnerships, they were able to highlight the various organizations that they have been able to partner with, including banks, AWS, Google, Visa, Internet Watch Foundation, Kenya Healthcare Federation, UNICEF partnership, the various partnerships that they have been able to highlight, which also goes hand in hand with SDG number 17. So basically, they have highlighted what they are able to do as regards these particular SDGs. They've also highlighted their platforms, what they're able to do with their platforms. On the network performance, they have given key indicators on the network availability and sustainability. Being a telecom company, it is important for them to highlight some of these things because these are what investors will be looking into. These are the issues that go into the business strategy of the organization. So if their network coverage expansion is increasing year by year, then investors are actually going to be encouraged by such reporting, and they're actually going to be more willing to put in their finances into the organization and to help the organization grow. They also highlight some of their financial services and solutions which were available in 2024. I believe in the coming year, some of these solutions are going to be increased because, as noted, we have features such as ZD Trader, which allows people to be able to trade various securities. So they're doing quite a lot as regards inclusivity, and they have been able to highlight the same in their report. Further, the other material topic was on environmental stewardship. So what have they been able to do as regards environmental stewardship? Well, they have highlighted what they have been doing, the emissions as regards carbon emissions, scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. They have highlighted the same, though it is noted that in the current year, the emissions had increased, but they are working on having the same reduced. The same was attributed to increased usage of diesel generators and other factors that have been shared in the report, though not as clearly. So this is maybe something the organization should look into in their reporting, highlighting the risks and the opportunities that arise out of these sectors whereby they have not been able to achieve what they had intended to achieve. So why exactly were they not able to do so? What risks have they been able to identify? What mitigating factors have they been able to put in place? It is important for them to also highlight some of these things in their reporting. Further, they have highlighted what they are doing as regards their scope 3 emissions reporting, how they are able to incorporate other players in their supply chain so as to be able to report on their scope 3 emissions. As you know, scope 3 emissions are the emissions that are indirect emissions. They're not emissions that you're actually emitting, but are emitting as a result of maybe the supply from your suppliers, where you're getting your supply from. Further, they have also highlighted their impact on renewable and non-renewable fuel consumption. They have highlighted how they are able to monitor resource usage and on waste. So these are the areas that organizations should be able to report on. When reporting on your sustainability, you need to be able to say what you have done as regards your waste management, your energy management, your resource management, because this is what speaks to sustainability. If you're not able to manage your resources effectively, then your organization may not be deemed to be very sustainable. If your waste management is wanting, then definitely at the end of the day, you may not be very sustainable. They have also highlighted what they were able to do as regards biodiversity restoration. They note that they were able to plant up to 800,000 trees, though this is not yet to their target of 5 million, but they are moving steadily towards said target. As regards regulatory environment, they've also re-emphasized their commitment to continued transparency, highlighting their levels of compliance, including complying with the Communications Authority Quality of Service Framework, which framework evaluates the overall performance of telecommunication services through criteria including call quality, data speed, and customer satisfaction. It is notable that Safaricom was able to achieve a 90% QoS score, which is, though not 100%, but is still quite high and is still quite commendable. Further, they've also highlighted what they were able to do as regards connectivity and how much connectivity they were able to achieve within the year. As regards their governance, business ethics, and risk, they reiterate their commitment to good governance practices. They also highlight the much that they have been doing as regards anti-money laundering. The reporting that they were able to do as regards anti-money laundering is also highlighted in the report. They also highlight their board, their composition in numbers, their governance framework. All this is reported in their business sustainable report, which organizations should also copy and be able to highlight. As noted in our previous episode, the sustainable report did not actually incorporate the board composition and the governance frameworks. So some of these things are important because we are moving towards an age whereby we are actually concerned with how the organization is being governed. We have seen organizations fall because of poor governance. So it is paramount that the organization is actually governed in a right way, and that this governance framework are actually shared with particular shareholders and stakeholders. Further, they also highlight that they undertook ethics training for their team and for the various stakeholders, external partners. They also highlight the type of fraud that they were able to investigate, and the ethical standards and supplier collaboration. So they actually shared a supplier code of conduct with their various suppliers, which has been acquiesced to by up to 90% of their suppliers, which reflects a 9% rise. So this is actually commendable. As highlighted before, scope 3 emissions speak to indirect emissions that are actually being emitted by your suppliers. So it is also important for you to have some collaboration between the organization and its suppliers. So as noted, Safaricom has a code of conduct compliance that they have shared with their suppliers. Further, they also have shared the various activities that they are doing as regards ethics training and the emissions. Also, on customer privacy and data, they have highlighted the various activities that they were able to do as regards customer data. As you know, the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner is bearing down heavily on organizations. So it is important for organizations to ensure that they are actually putting in measures to ensure that they are compliant with some of these data protection measures. So they have undertaken training and awareness for their employees. Further, they have also ensured that there is supply and partner compliance. They also undertake regulatory engagement with the Office of the Data Protection Commission to ensure that they are in constant communication and that they are always abiding by the regulatory requirements that have been set out. They also highlight the various stakeholders that they have, which include their employees, their customers, their business partners, the communities around where they are, the government and the regulators, investors and shareholders, and the media. So they have highlighted some of these stakeholders and what they are doing actually to, engage these stakeholders and the role that they are playing when engaging these various stakeholders. As regards employees, this is the S in ESG. The S in ESG also focuses on the employees. So they highlight what they were able to do. They note that there has been an increase in employee engagement and on employee satisfaction. They note that there has been an increase on the diversity of the employee. Notably, they note that there's 49% female employee and 51%, which is almost 50-50, and is quite commendable because not many organizations are able to achieve this ratio. So it is commendable if Safaricom are able to achieve this ratio with their staff. They also highlight what they're able to do as regards persons with diversity, as noted. Part of the metrics for social is on the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusivity. And on inclusivity, there's part of including persons with disabilities. So Safaricom is doing quite not well, but quite commendably, with 3.5% of its workforce being 3.2, sorry, 3.5 is the target. 3.2% of its workforce being persons with disability. They have also highlighted what they are able to do as regards talent acquisition and talent retention. They also highlight the activities, what they're able to do as regards AI integration and where they wish to move in later days. They also reiterate their commitment to health and safety, highlighting the various achievements that they have been able to do as regards health and safety, for both for their staff and for the communities in which they are engaged. They then highlight the goals, the health and safety goals for the financial year 2025. So it is important for organizations to look into the health and safety of the various stakeholders, including their employees, their customers, their communities around where they function. As noted, Safaricom is a tech company. So there's going to be issues as regards radiation, issues to do with technology and health. So it is important for them to also look into these factors and ensure that they are ensuring that their stakeholders are well protected as regards health and innovation. I mean, health and safety. Further, they also highlight what they are doing as regards their supplier and business partners. They highlight their local suppliers and their foreign suppliers. They also showcase their spend on local suppliers and on foreign suppliers. They also note what has been their engagement with special interest groups. These are the women and the youth and the marginalized communities. So it is quite commendable what they have been able to achieve in the previous years. They can be able to do still more. And as noted by their 2025 targets, they actually hope to achieve a lot more. Further, they have highlighted what they are doing in their various organizations for the stakeholders, including Women in Technology, including M-Pesa Foundation and Safaricom Foundation, including what they have been able to do through the Citizens of the Future program. These are all programs that Safaricom has able to institute for the society, for their various stakeholders, and programs that are doing quite well. And other organizations should be able to emulate the same. Who are their shareholders? Who are the investors that are invested in Safaricom? So they shared their shareholder base, highlighting Vodacom, Vodafone. Although this is expected to change, as you know, the news headlines have been rampant with news that there's an ongoing Safaricom sale. So this shareholding is expected to change in the coming years. But this is as it was in the financial year for 2024. So it is notable. The report itself is quite comprehensive. It highlights also, it has a GRI standards index, which by their own acquiescence, they confess that they have not been able to achieve all that they wish to achieve as regards GRI standards, but that they are working towards 100% compliance with the GRI standards. So it is notable what Safaricom has been doing for the past 14 years with their sustainable business report. Many organizations are not able to even give an integrated report, let alone a standalone report. So it is commendable that for the past 14 years, Safaricom has actually been able to give a sustainability report. Other organizations should follow suit. They should be able to borrow from them, see what Safaricom has done so that they can also do the same. As is evident, Safaricom is enjoying quite high financial successes. They are getting profits that other organizations can only envy. But also, they are also putting in work that other organizations are not putting in. They are putting in efforts in ensuring that the organization is sustainable, whereas other organizations are simply focused on financial gains. We are moving away from the age of just financial gains. What are you doing to the society? What is your impact in the country's economy? What is the impact as regards environment? What is your impact on governance? How are you running your affairs? Is your governance frameworks emulatable? Is it something that other organizations can copy? Or is it something that is just ad hoc and, cannot really lead to much success? So it is important to read from this sustainability report, read what can you emulate as an organization, as a practitioner, how can you improve the same. Safaricom actually welcomes recommendations and comments on how to improve their sustainable report. So if you have recommendations, you can share the same with the organization. You can, if you are practicing sustainability practitioner, you can implement some of these things that Safaricom is already doing. You can also implement the same in your organization so that to ensure that your organization is sustainable and the country's sustainability space actually moves forward uniformly. In the next episode, we'll be looking at Equity's sustainability report and seeing what they're doing and how they can improve and what we can copy from their sustainable report.